Hello everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Podcast Conversation. Whether you're new or a regular listener, we're so glad you're here. Today, Thomas and I are diving into a fascinating topic that can make a big difference in your English learning journey, thinking in English faster.
Exactly, Jennifer. Often, people learn English and can understand it well, but when it comes to forming thoughts quickly in English, they struggle. Thinking directly in English can help you feel more confident, respond faster, and even speak more naturally.
And to make it easier for you, we're breaking down some exercises and practices that you can try in your daily life. These are practical, and you don't need to be an expert to start using them right away.
That's right, Jennifer. It's all about practice. The more you train your brain to think in English, the more automatic it becomes. Let's start with a simple exercise that you can use every day.
One great exercise to start with is thinking about your daily activities in English. For example, when you wake up, think about what you're going to do that day. You could say to yourself, I'm going to have breakfast. I need to prepare for work. I'm going to walk my dog.
Exactly, and the key here is to avoid translating from your native language. Instead, try to form simple sentences in English about things you normally do. The more you practice this, the faster your brain will start to form thoughts in English without needing translation.
Another great practice is to talk to yourself in English. For example, when you're cooking, you can say what you're doing, like I'm chopping the vegetables. I'm stirring the sauce. It smells delicious.
This might feel a little strange at first, but it's really helpful. The goal is to get your brain used to speaking in English without overthinking it. It doesn't matter if you're alone, just talk out loud as much as possible.
Flashcards are another useful tool. You can write down common objects or actions on cards and test yourself. For example, hold up a card with the word apple on it and try to describe it in English without thinking in your native language. You could say, this is a red fruit. It's sweet and crunchy.
Flashcards are great because they force you to think quickly. You can make your own flashcards or use apps that have ready-made ones. The faster you can identify and describe things, the faster your brain will start to think in English naturally.
This one is simple, but very effective. Before you go to bed, take a few minutes to think in English. You can go over your day, think about what you did, or plan for tomorrow. Try to do this without translating from your native language.
This exercise helps your brain process English as you sleep. You'll find that when you wake up, you can think in English faster and it will start to feel more natural throughout your day.
A fun way to practice thinking in English is to watch movies or TV shows in English. Try to understand what's being said without translating. Focus on the meaning instead of the individual words.
Exactly. You can even pause the video and try to explain what just happened in your own words in English. This helps train your brain to think quickly in English, especially when you're listening to fast speech.
Another great exercise is to practice describing your surroundings in English. Wherever you are, look around and start describing what you see. For example, I see a blue chair next to a big window. The sunlight is coming through the window, making the room feel warm and cozy. This is a fantastic way to keep your mind actively thinking in English because you're observing things in real time.
That's such a powerful practice, Jennifer. By describing things around you in English, you train your brain to create simple sentences quickly. And the beauty of this exercise is that you don't need any special materials. Just observe and describe. It can be done on a walk, in your kitchen, or while sitting at a park. Over time, it helps you think in English more naturally because you're associating English words directly with what you see.
One tip I love to give is to start setting small goals for yourself each day, entirely in English. For instance, you could make a list of things you want to accomplish, like I will finish reading a chapter in my English book or I will practice vocabulary for 15 minutes. This keeps your mind focused on using English in a productive way. Plus, goal setting itself can be motivating.
Setting goals in English also helps you focus on short-term achievements and gives you an English-oriented mindset. When you write these goals, you're not just planning. You're training your mind to think about daily tasks in English. It's a powerful way to make English part of your everyday routine, and even a small goal like practicing new words reinforces your fluency.
If you have friends or family members who are also learning English, try practicing with them. Even if it's for a few minutes a day, have a conversation about any topic you like. For instance, you could discuss what happened during your day or plan a future activity together. Practicing with people you know can be fun and less intimidating.
And if you don't have anyone around who speaks English, you can even try recording your voice or video. Talk about your day or something you enjoy, like your favorite hobby. Listening to yourself can be surprisingly helpful. It gives you a chance to hear how you sound, recognize areas for improvement, and see your progress over time. Speaking aloud and hearing it back makes a big difference.
Another trick is to think in English during everyday activities. For example, when you're grocery shopping, try thinking about your shopping list in English. Instead of manzanas, think apples. While cooking, think about each step in English. This keeps your mind constantly exposed to English vocabulary, even during simple tasks.
That's a smart way to integrate English into your daily routine, Jennifer. Even the smallest tasks, like washing dishes or folding laundry, can be used as an opportunity to practice. You can tell yourself things like, I'm putting away clean dishes, or I need to sort these clothes. This way, you're building language skills without even having to set aside extra time for studying.
When you're passionate about a topic, it's easier to think about it in English. Try to mentally explore topics that interest you, like your favorite book, movie, or a recent event. Ask yourself questions like, why do I like this? Or what did I learn? And answer in English. Engaging your mind this way helps you stay interested and build vocabulary naturally.
Great advice, Jennifer. When you're passionate, English becomes less like a task and more like a tool for exploring your own thoughts. Think of it as a way to dive deeper into things you love. You could even keep a small journal in English where you write down thoughts or summaries about what you're reading or watching. It's a fantastic way to reinforce the language while keeping it fun.
Try asking yourself simple questions in English and then answer them. For example, ask, what did I eat today? Or how am I feeling right now? Even if you're not speaking out loud, answering these questions mentally in English can help. This keeps your mind active and encourages spontaneous thinking, which is key for fluency.
Yes, and you can keep these questions very practical. What am I going to do next? Or what do I want to accomplish today? Are great for starting your day with a quick English thought. It doesn't have to be complicated. Simple, practical questions train your mind to form responses in English, making it more natural over time.
One useful exercise is to read signs or labels in English whenever possible. For example, if you're at a store, take a look at the labels on products and try to describe them in English. Like, this is a large bottle of water, or this cereal has oats and honey. Practicing in real-world situations helps connect English to everyday contexts, making it easier to remember and use later.
That's a great idea, Jennifer. Reading everyday text in English helps you build vocabulary naturally and makes thinking in English a more automatic habit. If you see a sign at a bus stop, for instance, try to describe it. The bus arrives in 10 minutes. This small practice trains you to mentally engage with English in your surroundings, creating a continuous language learning environment.
Another way to train your mind to think faster in English is to narrate your actions as you go about your day. For instance, when you wake up, think to yourself, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm making my bed, I'm putting on my shoes. Narrating what you're doing in English, even if it's medley, helps you create a flow in the language without translating first. This practice helps improve your fluency and makes English a natural part of your thoughts.
Exactly, Jennifer. Narrating your actions also builds your confidence because it's like having a private practice session. You're forming sentences without worrying about making mistakes. It's a great habit that helps your mind get used to expressing thoughts in English. Plus, since it's related to your daily routine, it feels relevant and useful, reinforcing practical vocabulary you'll often need.
One helpful technique is to practice silent thinking in English before speaking, especially in situations where you might feel nervous. For example, if you're about to ask for directions, take a moment to think, how can I ask this question politely? Practice forming sentences in your mind, so you're more prepared when you actually speak. This small habit gradually helps you form thoughts in English faster and with more confidence.
This is such a smart approach, Jennifer. Taking a few seconds to mentally organize your thoughts helps make speaking in English less stressful. Think of it like rehearsing. When you do this, you're preparing your mind to think and respond in English without needing extra time to translate. It's a great way to develop fluency, especially in situations where you want to make a clear impression.
A great way to start thinking in English quickly is by learning some simple phrases that can spark a conversation, like, "How was your day?" Or "What do you think about this?" Starting with easy phrases lets you initiate conversation in English with confidence. Even with just a few phrases, you'll find that it becomes easier to think in English because you're directly using English to communicate.
And the more you use these starter phrases, the faster your brain will naturally switch to English when you need it. Once you're comfortable with them, add a few more, like "Could you tell me about?" Or "That's interesting. Can you explain more?" These phrases are versatile, and as you build comfort, they create a pathway for you to think and respond more freely in English.
Language exchanges are a great way to think quickly in English because they put you in real-time conversation situations. You can find online platforms to connect with English speakers or fellow learners. Even just 15 minutes a day of speaking with someone can make a difference. You'll be practicing thinking in English as you listen and respond, without translating. It's like immersing yourself in an English-speaking environment, even if you're not physically there.
Language exchanges are indeed powerful, Jennifer. They challenge you to think on the spot, which is excellent for building fluency. The real-time conversation means you can't rely on translation. You're actively using English to understand, process, and respond. The more you practice, the faster you'll find yourself forming thoughts in English and responding with confidence, even if it feels challenging at first.
Another effective strategy is to focus on learning and thinking about everyday English. Think of the phrases or vocabulary you'd use for daily tasks, like ordering food or asking for help. Practice these in your mind throughout the day, creating sentences like, "Can I have a cup of coffee?" Or "Where is the nearest train station?" These practical sentences make you more comfortable with everyday conversations and help you think in English quickly because they're related to real-life scenarios.
Focusing on daily vocabulary is key, Jennifer. When you're comfortable with everyday phrases, it becomes much easier to think in English during common interactions. You're building a mental library of phrases that you don't have to translate, so they come naturally. Plus, when you practice these daily phrases, you're equipping yourself for real conversations, which speeds up your ability to respond on the spot in English.
Writing can also improve your ability to think in English. Try journaling about your day, your thoughts, or anything you enjoy. Even just 5 minutes of writing each day helps solidify your English thinking skills. You don't need to worry about perfect grammar, just let the thoughts flow. This helps train your mind to express ideas in English, making it a natural part of your day-to-day thinking.
Writing is such an underrated tool for thinking in English, Jennifer. It forces you to organize your thoughts in English, which makes speaking and thinking easier. Plus, when you write, you can take your time to reflect, which allows for deeper learning. Over time, this habit makes your mind faster at forming English sentences, and you'll start to notice that thinking in English becomes more automatic as a result.
Visualization is a powerful tool to help you think in English. Try to picture a conversation in your mind, such as ordering food at a restaurant or asking for directions. Imagine the words you would say and the responses you might get. This practice allows your brain to anticipate common phrases and conversations, helping you get used to thinking in English without needing to translate first. It's a simple exercise, but it makes a big difference over time.
I agree, Jennifer. Visualizing conversations is a way to prepare yourself for real-life interactions. When you imagine specific scenarios, you're creating a mental script that helps reduce hesitation. Whether it's a casual chat or a question, this mental rehearsal gives you a confidence boost and speeds up your thought process in English. It's like creating a practice round in your mind, so when you face similar situations in real life, the words come to you faster.
A surprising but helpful tip is to do basic math in English. Try counting numbers, adding or subtracting amounts, or even calculating simple expenses mentally in English. This not only trains your brain to handle practical situations, but also reinforces thinking in English during day-to-day tasks. When you're used to performing calculations in English, it can make switching languages in daily life easier and more fluid.
That's a creative approach, Jennifer. Doing math in English engages a different part of your brain and connects English to logical thinking, which many people overlook. When you calculate in English, it's like you're practicing English skills in a completely different context. It might seem small, but the effect adds up, making your brain more adaptable in handling English without translation. Over time, this habit also boosts your overall comfort with using English in varied situations.
Engaging with English content on social media is another practical way to train your brain. Follow English-speaking accounts, read their posts, and try to respond or comment in English. Even a short comment is practice that strengthens your ability to think and react in English. This everyday interaction is like micro-learning, and since social media is so common in our lives, it's a convenient tool to develop quick thinking in English without formal practice.
Social media can be an excellent tool, Jennifer. It makes English accessible in casual ways, and every comment or post you read can be a mini exercise for your brain. When you're actively engaging, whether liking a post or writing a quick message, you're practicing real communication. Plus, social media often has natural, conversational English, so you're learning the language people actually use, which is a fantastic way to improve fluency in a fun, engaging way.
Listening to English audiobooks or podcasts helps train your brain to think in English as well. Try choosing topics you enjoy and follow along actively, maybe by summarizing what you hear in English afterward. Engaging with spoken content improves listening skills and encourages you to respond in English naturally. This practice also helps you learn new vocabulary and phrases, which can speed up your thought process in English over time.
That's a great tip, Jennifer. Audiobooks and podcasts expose you to different accents, styles, and natural conversations, which enrich your understanding of English. Summarizing in your mind or even speaking out loud after listening is a fantastic way to reinforce what you've learned. Since you're hearing how English flows naturally, it becomes easier to think in full sentences and handle real conversations with confidence and clarity.
A simple but effective exercise is to describe objects around you in English. For example, if you're in a room, think to yourself, there's a red book on the table, or the chair is made of wood. Practicing this regularly trains your brain to form sentences quickly and to think in English in any environment. Describing objects in real time helps with vocabulary retention and makes it easier to think and respond in English in various settings.
Describing surroundings is such a helpful exercise, Jennifer. When you make it a habit, even small moments like waiting in line or sitting on a bus become learning opportunities. By continuously describing items, you're forcing your mind to stay in English mode. It's an effortless way to keep your language skills active, and it makes thinking in English feel natural and second nature, especially as you build up the vocabulary for everyday items.
Setting small English challenges each day keeps things interesting and encourages consistent practice. You could challenge yourself to learn 5 new English words every day or to try thinking in English for an hour. Small, consistent goals give you a sense of accomplishment and help reinforce your English thinking skills over time. Daily challenges make learning a routine, which is crucial for fluency, and they keep you engaged with the language on a regular basis.
That's an excellent idea, Jennifer. Challenges make the learning process more structured and rewarding. When you set specific goals, you're more motivated to push your limits, and each success builds your confidence. Whether it's learning new vocabulary, practicing grammar, or thinking in English for a set time, these challenges create a sense of progress and bring you closer to thinking and responding in English as a natural habit.
One very effective method is to speak aloud, even when you're alone. Whether you're at home, in the car, or walking, practice having conversations or thinking aloud in English. This helps you get used to the sound and rhythm of the language, and the more you speak it out loud, the faster your brain will process English thoughts. The act of speaking aloud reinforces your language skills by activating both your verbal and cognitive abilities.
Speaking out loud really helps you internalize English, Jennifer. It's like having a private conversation where you can rehearse new vocabulary and practice sentence structures without the pressure of interacting with someone else. By doing this consistently, you begin to form thoughts in English without second-guessing yourself. It also boosts your confidence in speaking.
Labeling items in your house is a practical exercise that connects the physical world to the English language. Stick labels on your door, furniture, kitchen appliances, or even clothes with their English names. This constant exposure helps your brain associate English words with everyday objects. Over time, this helps reinforce vocabulary and trains your brain to think in English as you go about your day-to-day activities.
That's such a smart tip, Jennifer. Labeling items at home not only improves vocabulary but also enhances recall. When you need to describe something or talk about it in English, you'll find it easier to remember the word because you see it regularly. It's a simple yet effective strategy that immerses you in the language passively. Plus, by labeling your environment, you ensure that English is always present, nudging your brain to think in English all the time, even without conscious effort.
Writing in a journal in English can do wonders for your ability to think in English faster. Start by writing just a few sentences each day, focusing on expressing your thoughts without translating from your native language. It doesn't have to be perfect. The key is consistency. This practice helps train your brain to formulate ideas directly in English, and over time, it becomes easier to write and speak fluently. The more you write, the more natural it becomes to think in English first.
I completely agree. Jennifer, writing in English every day helps you break away from thinking in your native language. When you journal, you're practicing constructing sentences in real time without the mental delay caused by translation. This process strengthens your vocabulary and grammar, too. Over time, you'll find that it becomes easier to think quickly in English, whether you're writing or speaking.
Surrounding yourself with English media is one of the best ways to accelerate your ability to think in English. Watch movies, TV shows, or news in English and try to absorb as much as possible. As you listen to conversations in context, it's easier to remember phrases, idioms, and even cultural references. Immersion helps to make English a more natural part of your life, so your brain gradually switches to thinking in English instead of translating from your native language.
That's a great suggestion, Jennifer. Immersion creates a rich environment where you're constantly exposed to the language. Listening to native speakers in different situations helps you understand the nuances of English, from slang to formal language. The more you immerse yourself, the less effort it takes to understand and think in English. The key is to keep it enjoyable whether you're watching a TV series you love or listening to music in English.
Well, that wraps up our episode on how to train your brain to think in English faster. We hope these exercises and practices help you improve your English fluency and start thinking in English more naturally. Keep practicing, and remember, consistency is key.
Exactly. Don't get discouraged if it feels challenging at first. With time and dedication, you'll find that thinking in English becomes second nature. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Keep practicing and stay motivated.